Hi, everyone. I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop, and the day is Friday, August the 18th. And we have some beautiful weather going on finally across our area. The humidity values aren't all that high this afternoon. I mean, they're high for a lot of other area standards, but for Savannah standards, 47% relative humidity at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with a temperature in the low to middle 90s. That's not bad. That doesn't give you much of a heat index whatsoever. And it looks like our weekend's going to be pretty good as well. But then, a chance for some thunder showers on Sunday. But otherwise, decent weather for us. Now, the questions ongoing currently is what is going on in the tropics? It's been kind of quiet. Well, usually the tropics in this portion of the world really don't start firing up till about August 25th, thereabouts. We're approaching that date pretty close. Today's the 18th, as I just mentioned. And yeah, the tropics are beginning to get activated. And once they get activated, they stay activated for about 2 months, it seems. And that's looking like what's going to be the case. So with that being said, let me bring in the graphics and move my mug out of the way so we can see what's going on. And right there. And looking at the National Hurricane Center outlook for the next 7 days, there you can see it right there. The areas of concern are in the eastern and central tropical Atlantic Ocean. These areas here, as you can see, disturbance 3, disturbance 2, 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. And then over here we have disturbance number 1, a 70% chance for cyclone formation in the next 7 days. And then over here in the central Gulf of Mexico, another disturbance number 4, cyclone formation possible 30% or 40% probability in the next 7 days. So yeah, things are getting active, but will they be affecting us? Right now, I don't think so. So with that being said, let's take a look at the satellite imagery right now. And I'm going to refresh this to bring up the latest data. There you have a rather large system over here to the west of the Sable Verde Islands, or Cape Verde Islands, some like to call it. And then this is that other system in the central Atlantic, and this is the one in the approaching the Lesser Antilles Islands. And then activity in the Gulf of Mexico, well, nothing's showing up right now, but a potential system could develop out in that area. So let's take a look at the computer models associated with that. And this is the GFS, the Global Forecast System, the U.S. model. And here we have it right here. There's that system that's been well defined out in the Atlantic Ocean. And that one right over here. We'll keep an eye on that because it has the potential, the greatest potential for some development. But where's it going to go? That's the good question. And I think it's not going to go anywhere around here. Putting this into motion, you can see it already is looking like it's getting some issues with the development and some shearing going on. And it looks like it doesn't really make much out of it. And it basically almost dissipates and does dissipate while that system over near the Lesser Antilles Islands moves to the north, and then it begins to dissipate as it pushes off to the north-northeast. Now, again, the GFS model has a system in the Central Caribbean Sea. It's been trying to develop this system for the last 7 days now, it seems like, and it just has a tendency to overdo it once you get past 240 hours. But this one's a little bit sooner than 240 hours. This one is up to, let's take it to 240 hours right there. That's 10 days out. And it does show a system developing in the Caribbean Sea, crossing Cuba, going into the Straits of Florida. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. At 240 hours out, these models aren't all that great. Now, let's take a look at the other models and see and compare the Canadian model. We'll keep it locked on 240. Let's go to the Canadian model and take a look at it. And there it is right there. It does show something developing. And it brings it up to the southern tip of Florida and then moves it over the Bahamas and then out to sea. While it does pick up that other system in the system number, the one that was closest to the Lesser Antilles Islands, and brings it over as a developing system, and that was moving it to the north, remaining again well east of us. And then it's bringing in another system that was not defined earlier. It's off the coast of Africa this morning, it will be moving westward according to the Canadian model and developing. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one as well. Let's go back to the 240-hour mark and let's go to the ECMWF, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. And again, it doesn't show anything around the southern tip of Florida at 240 hours. It does show something in the extreme western Gulf of Mexico and in the central tropical Atlantic Ocean, and that system well to the east of us, even east of Bermuda. So really nothing to worry about with these guys. Let's push this back from the beginning and go through time. And there you can see the models are indicating, the ECMWF, that if systems do form, they'll stay out in the central Atlantic Ocean and not be of any concern to us whatsoever. Matter of fact, the entire eastern United States. So the next question is, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That is Hurricane Hilary out in the Pacific Ocean. This is an extremely difficult or strange hurricane because hurricanes of this strength usually don't develop move into southern portions of California and western Arizona and southern Nevada. But this one has a tendency to do that, not so much as a hurricane, but as a very strong rainmaker. So let's take a look at that. And here's the picture right now of Hurricane Hilary with 140 mile per hour winds. Let's go into the enhanced view of this system right here. And here it is right here, number 13, the 10.3 micrometer view. There's the storm right there. Let's zoom in on that and take a quick look at that. There is the storm, a well-defined eye, Category 4 hurricane with 140 mile per hour winds. And it is moving off toward the north at this time. And it will continue moving northward. But part of the problem here is it's currently over some very warm waters in the mid-80s, mid to upper 80s at that. And it's expected to move northward toward, well, the water is still quite warm in the Baja of California, the bay here, but over, and that's the Gulf of California, over here off the Pacific Ocean coast, it is a much cooler water temperature there. First of all, let's take a look at the forecast path of this particular hurricane, and there you see the path is having it going off to the north-northwest and then curving northward. Hurricane warnings in effect for the west central coast of the Baja of California. Hurricane watch in effect for the northwest Baja of California. And a tropical storm watch is in effect for Southern California. As the storm moves northward, it will rapidly weaken as it gets to the upper portions of the Baja of California and then move as a tropical storm, a rapidly decaying tropical storm into Southern California. But I want to show you this over here. These are the sea surface temperatures. And there you can see right now those temperatures are in the, well, these are degrees Celsius. So, but 31 degrees, I believe, is about 86 degrees or so. 31 is equal to 88 degrees, that 88 degrees Fahrenheit. But as you notice, as you go off the coast of California, the water temperatures are at 20 and 18 and 19. 20 degrees Celsius is 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and 18 is about 65 degrees. So that water is much cooler, and hurricanes do not like cold water whatsoever. That's a good way of dampening out a hurricane and really knocking it down fast, is just put it over colder water. And if you can add some wind shear into that, you'll have a rapid portion of a decay associated with the hurricane. But for right now, though, the hurricane's over this extremely warm waters off the coast of Mexico, West Mexico, in toward the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of California, in the Baja of California over here. So keep that in mind. Let's look at, just out of curiosity, how is that compared to the normal water temperatures? Yeah, it's a little bit above normal there too. The coastal water temperatures off the upper coast of the Baja of California and Southern California are a little below normal for this time of the year. So that cold water usually is a saving grace for southern portions of California. But this system is very large and very strong, and so it's going to take a little bit of extra time to wind down. And in the process, it's going to be dropping a lot of rain. Looking at the rain totals forecast for this area, let's bring this map over a little bit the other way. It's over here so you can see it. Here we have it right here. And you can see a lot of rain forecast be associated with this system as it comes in, particularly on Saturday night and all day on Sunday, going into Sunday night and Monday morning. Anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rain could fall in the southern portions of California, southern and western portions of Nevada, and even portions of central and western portions of Arizona could see 1 to 2 inches of rain out of that as well. But possibility of 2 to 5 inches of rain, maybe 6 inches of rain in the southern portions of California, where it's usually associated with hot desert conditions. So they're going to get quite a bit of rain out of this system. Now, the National Hurricane Center forecast has that system with the yellow is 4 to 6 inches of rain, and the 6 is 6 to 10 inches of rain. So there quite possibly some very strong rains. And we know from the winter rains and the spring rains out in that area, they had a lot of the reservoirs filled up to the top, and they had to actually discharge some of the reservoirs. So there's a lot of water in those reservoirs right now, so there's not much place for that water to go. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the news for the southern portions of the United States, southwest United States, for California, Nevada, and portions of western Arizona. Speaking of water temperature, how's it doing over here? Well, it's not doing that well. It's in the upper 80s to almost lower 90s. For a couple days earlier this week, we had temperatures off the coast of Georgia, this water temperature over here, into the, it was in the upper 80s. I saw some 88s and 89s off the coast of Georgia and southern South Carolina. The Gulf Stream right now is still in the upper 80s, 31 degrees Celsius. That's the upper 80s. And here we have 32 degrees in the east central Gulf of Mexico. That's 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if a hurricane or a tropical storm gets into this warm water, that's like extra octane into the fuel system, and that's the fuel that a hurricane draws from, is the heat of the water in the oceans in the Gulf of Mexico. So keep that in mind. If something does develop, it's got plenty of fuel to work with. And speaking of working with that, let's take a look at the forecast for the next several days in our area. No hurricanes. I'm not worried at all. However, we're going to see some actually decent weather for, tomorrow, Saturday. Even though the temperature will be 94 degrees, looks like the humidity will be respectable, like it was today. Respectable humidity values during the afternoon hours. Now, Sunday, there's a chance for some scattered thunder showers. Rain chance at 50%. But then going into Monday and Tuesday, expect to see dry weather returning across the area. And then as we go into the middle of the week, another slight chance, not much at all. Rain chance on Tuesday, I got it 5%, 10% Wednesday and Thursday. So dry weather is moving in for our area. We'll keep an eye on the tropics for you as things are beginning to ramp up out there. But right now, nothing to be worried about for our area. But it's that time of the year where we have to start watching the tropics. And as I mentioned, anytime after August 25th, particularly between August 25th and it used to be October 10th, now it's about almost the entire month of October. We have to keep a really sharp eye on the tropics. I call it the sweat time, the sweat zone. That's when we have to be sweating out the tropics, to keep an eye on that. So again, I'll be watching it for you. Until then, actually enjoy the weather this weekend. It's going to be nice. See you later. Bye.